Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Peter, and in this video I would like to show you the final version of my Thrustmaster SF1000 clutch paddle mod. So first let's start with a brief overview of the key features of this mod. The first thing is the shape of the paddle itself. So that's probably one of the things I was least impressed with when I got my hands on the wheel the first time. First of all, it's like, as you can see, it's super bulky, and also the spacing isn't great. So obviously I can easily reach the gear shifter, but then for the clutch, it's like, I don't know, for me it's a bit inconvenient. Now with the modified version, you can see that I can reach the shifter, but then I also very easily, with both fingers, I can reach the clutch. Also, it's just a 3mm carbon fiber, so it's not as bulky as the original. The second and probably the biggest feature of this mod is the bite control. So what this enables you is to offset the clutch, and this will basically help you prevent the wheel spin when starting the car. In this video I'll show you how does it work exactly and how to assemble it on the Thrustmaster wheel. First, let's look at all the components. So here we have the carbon fiber paddle plate. Then we have a 3D printed mounting bracket that just connects to the carbon plate with 3 M2 screws and just held with a nut on the bottom here. We also have the knob for the clutch offset control. As you can see, the one I have in here is knurled, but it can only be printed from like a resin. If you used a normal FDM 3D printer, you wouldn't be able to get this kind of a detail. But in the files, like a flat one is also included, so you can print it with normal 3D printer. Then we have the replacement piece of the enclosure for the potentiometer. It's very similar to the one that's on the wheel from factory. It's just it has to be a bit longer to accommodate for the extra width of the whole assembly due to the knob. And lastly, there's like a back bracket that just covers the back. Again, it's very similar to the original one, just some of the dimensions have to be modified. So how does it all work? Well, the secret is in the magnets. So you can see on the paddle side as well as in the knob there are magnets. Yeah, these are 10mm in diameter and 3mm thick magnets, and they just connect to each other. Yeah. Now you'll notice that I have added a bit of how is it called? It's like a silicone spray paint or something like that. You don't have to use this exact method. I mean, you can use like a silicone, something sticky basically, that creates the extra friction. So when the paddle moves, it doesn't basically offset on its own. You have to apply the extra force that's higher than the resistance of the potentiometer. I tried using it with just clean magnets, but after using it for a bit of time, it was on its own, like creating a bit of an offset over time, and therefore the extra resistance is needed for it to function properly. But after adding a bit of extra resistance in between the magnets, it works flawlessly without any issues at all, and just holds perfectly well. Okay, so now let's look how to put it on the SF1000 wheel. Right, so straight away I can tell you it's going to be extremely painful to record, but I'll do my best. First of all, what we need to do, the first steps are to remove the 3 screws. So we have 1, 2, and the third one on the back. Yeah? And keep these screws because we will reuse them for the final assembly. And I'll also remove the plastic cover from the back, and then here we can see the potentiometer inside. So let's just remove the other two as well. Right, with that out of the way, we need to gently remove the potentiometer, and there's a bit of slack on the wires, but just be gentle with it because they're quite fragile, so can get easily damaged. Push out the potentiometer from this bracket here, like so, and this one we can put aside, we won't use it anymore. So here is what we will reuse, the potentiometer itself. Make sure you don't rotate it while it's off, because that can create like an offset on your clutch, and yeah, you'll have to go through like a calibration process and everything. You don't want that. So now the biggest problem is removing the original paddle. Now, one thing you'll have to note, and I don't know how well I'll be able to show that on camera. Okay, that should be a good angle. There is a spring in here. Now, what happened to me before is that this spring fell into the wheel itself, and there's just a massive pain afterwards because you have to take the whole back of the wheel off, and yeah, just trust me, you don't want to go through it. So just make sure you're super careful when removing it. I'll see if I'll manage to do it without the fail. Yeah, we'll just see. So I'll just use a different screwdriver and to push the pin that holds it inside. So just plug it in and try to push the pin out. Yeah, this is, I'm not sure how to do. Yeah, it fell in. Oh, I knew this would happen. So yeah, that's probably one of the biggest downsides of this mod. I'll come back to you when I find the damn spring. Right, so that's 20 minutes I'm never getting back. But here's the spring itself. I took it out from the inside of the wheel. Now, unfortunately, we have to go through the same process, similarly risky process again. So, what are the steps? First of all, we take the bracket that holds the modified assembly, and we need to take the pin that we took out before, push it through the side wall. Yeah. What it has to do next is to go on this side here, like so, and then in the middle of it we have to apply the spring, like so, and then it goes through to the other side and into this recess here. You can see, oops, focus, yeah, you can see in here, right? So it will be like so, yeah, and that will be the final assembly, and obviously the spring needs to be in the middle. Now I have no idea how I'm going to record this, so I'm just explaining it up front because it might look pretty bad on the camera. Oof, I finally made it somehow, but if you're doing it, I would highly recommend to actually take the whole back off the wheel. It's much easier to just push it from the bottom there. You can see this spring. It's just much easier to put it from the other side. That's what I did with the other paddle. Right, so it will just get easier from now on. What we need to do is to apply this back piece and our knob. Yeah, so what I would do is put this one, it's magnetic, plug in the potentiometer inside, just push it through. Yeah, it will. We'll see. It goes. It should be like flat on the back, and push in the potential. Push in the potentiometer into the knob. Yeah, just slide it in. Okay. Now we use the screws that we took off before and just connect and just put them back in place. They don't have to be super tight, just so that the whole piece doesn't move in place. And now the final step is just to put on the back cover. So it simply goes onto here, and again we use the original screw to lock it in place. Right, so now we have it all in place, so it's all ready. The only last thing is to put on the carbon fiber paddle, and we're done. Hi, Peter from the future here. So I made a mistake at this step. When doing the step, please make sure to attach the paddle plate before you attach the whole thing to the back of the wheel, because the spring afterwards is blocking access to one of the M2 nuts, and it's extremely difficult to mount the plate afterwards. So just keep that in mind, please. And now the assembly is finally finished. And now we have two nice carbon fiber paddles with the bite control, and we're good to go. Happy racing!